Hello my beautiful people, how are you all doing? Welcome or welcome back to this channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So guys, in today's video we are going to be cooking. I know it's been a while since we cooked on this channel. See guys, I truly want to film more recipe videos, but I can't help the situation. Okay, so whenever you see a recipe video on this channel, just run, gladly come and watch it. Okay, watch it while it lasts, because you don't know when next I will be posting the next one. So yeah, I'm just going to post whenever I have a recipe video, so you guys should take me as I am. Okay, now back to this video. As you all can see, I'm washing my goat meat. I just took it out from the freezer. Oh, I didn't just take it out from the freezer, actually it has been sitting on the kitchen counter for some time now. I'm just going to wash it thoroughly. Just watch the video and see how I do mine. Some people use lemon. I've tried using lemon to wash my meats, not my meat but the meats and I don't really see the difference, honestly. I don't. So I only use salt and water to wash meats in this house. That's what I always do. Sorry guys for the interruption. That was my baby girl, Blessing. You guys know her. So I'm just going to take my time, carefully and gently wash the meat properly. You guys can see the stuff I'm taking out from the meat. Yeah, the most important thing is just to make sure that the meat is clean, no sand, although there is no sand in the meat, but I'm just saying, okay, and there are no particles here and there. Just take your time, wash the meat whichever way it works for you. Some people even use white vinegar to wash their meats. It's totally fine as long as it's working for you. Then just carry on with it. But as for me, I like using only salt and water. So after cleaning off the particles and stuff on the meat, I'm going to rinse it for the last time and transfer into my cooking pot. I'm going to be making a large pot of nsala soup, white soup. Some people call it aghaziefavour. I don't know, but I grew up knowing it as nsala soup, which is also known as light soup. So with this one, I'm making it with only goat meat and mackerel fish. I usually make my nsala soup with chicken and mackerel fish, but this time around I decided to use goat meat because we recently bought two full goats. So I'm like, it's been a while I had nsala soup with goat meat in it, so I'm doing it today. And by the way guys, did I mention that I'm making this for my guests? Yes, I'm having a guest over. I'm having guests over, not one person, okay? So they like it when I prepare nsala soup for them, so that's why I'm going with nsala soup. I would have gone with either bitter leaf or egusi, but they enjoy my nsala soup whenever they come to my place, so that's why I'm making nsala soup today. And as you all saw earlier, I added salt and 2 seasoning cubes to the meat, covered it, and I'm going to allow that to cook until it is like 80 to 90% done, and then we'll get back to the pot. Now over here, I'm going to cut up half of the onion, which I've already done, just half of the onion, and 3 scotch bonnet peppers and half cup of crayfish. Yeah, just add a little bit of water and blend. Now if you want your onion peel to be as fast as ever, just soak it in water for some minutes. Then once you come back, peel it. It is as easy as ABCD. Yeah, that's the trick. And also when you are cutting it, you will not be crying, you know. When cutting onion, you are shedding tears. No, with this method there will be no tears. Okay, just try it out if you haven't already. And over here I'm washing my mackerel fish. You guys can see what I'm doing here, or you've seen what I did already, the way I take off the intestines. Yeah, as easy as that. I'm going to rinse it properly and set aside. And oh, by the way, I added some salt to that goat meat. I don't know if you guys saw earlier or you noticed. I added the salt, I left it for some minutes, and then I came back to wash it. I didn't wash it as soon as I added the salt. And that is the same thing I'm doing here with the fish. Just add the salt, leave it for about 5 minutes or thereabout, then come back and rinse it off. Now the fish is ready. We are going to set that aside and move over to the pot. I'm just going to check if the meat is getting closer to doneness. I don't even know what I'm speaking, but as you can see, it is still very strong, so I'm going to leave it there to continue cooking. Alright guys, I'm back again, and this time around the meat is done. It's like 90 to 95% done, which is what I'm going for. I'm just going to use that tiny one as an scapegoat, just to taste and be sure that the meat is completely done, or not completely though, but because we are still cooking, we are still going to be adding more stuff to the pot, and the meat will still continue to cook, right? So I added more water because it was drying up. Oh yeah, when I tested it, it wasn't as soft as I wanted it to be, so I added the water, covered it, and now the meat is done to perfection, not completely done. I'm just going to add the mackerel fish now. Then pour in the blended crayfish, onion, and the scotch bonnet peppers. Yeah, I'm just going to add that, rinse the blender, and I'm going to be adding my uziza seeds and my ehuru seeds. I'm going to show you those in a bit, but I'm just going to gently mix in the blended mix. And then here are my spices. This first one is the ehuru seeds, and the second one is the uziza seeds. They are all blended. I just took them out from my freezer. I store so many African stuff in my freezer, so whenever I want to cook, it is easier for me to just grab and throw inside the pot. Okay, so I just added the uziza seeds first, and now I'm adding the ehuru seeds. Those are the two local spices I'm going to be using for this nsala soup. I want it as simple as ever, because the simpler the tastier. Is that English correct? I don't know, but I guess you understand where I'm coming from and where I'm heading to, right? So just keep it simple and you will see the deliciousness. Over here, I'm just showing you guys what my hubby came back from the supermarket with. While I was washing and cooking the meat, he was still at the supermarket, so he just came back now. He bought the poundo yam flour that I'm going to be using as my thickener, which is this thing right here. Yeah, this is what we are going to be using to thicken the soup. I ran out of it, so he quickly rushed to African store to get it for me. So I'm going to be using as you can see here, I'm adding half a cup, but I later added half more because this half wasn't enough, so I added half more off camera. Okay, yeah, because I'm making a large pot of soup, and that is why it is a good idea to start up with a smaller quantity, and then you can increase if you need more, instead of just mixing up a larger quantity and then you end up throwing some away. I don't like throwing stuff away, so I like to start small and then I can, you know, add more if I need. So I'm taking off the fish from the pot because I don't want it to scatter, and I'm going to pour in the mixture, whatever, and mix it up, and there you go. So after doing this, I added some more water to the pot because I wanted the soup to be plenty, and after adding the water, I realized that I needed more of the thickener, and that was when I added more. I didn't show you guys that part, but yeah, that was what I did. And now I'm adding extra one seasoning cube because I tasted it and it needed just that one seasoning cube and a teaspoon of salt, and that's it. Now I'm going to be adding my herbal veggies. The first one I just added now is the otazi leaves. Yeah, it's bitter in nature, so I used a very tiny bit of that. And the last one is uziza leaves. You guys remember earlier I added uziza seeds, now I added the leaves. So I'm using both the seeds and the leaves for this soup, which is a good combo. Like the taste, you can imagine the taste and the flavor. As you can see, I've just added back the fish, covered the pot, and allowed it to simmer for 5 minutes. Nothing more than 5 minutes, guys, and the soup is ready. Look at that pot, like it was so good. They enjoyed the soup, my hubby enjoyed it, I myself did enjoy it. Like, I made this soup for the adults, and then I made jollof rice for the kids. We are coming up with the jollof rice, just keep watching. Okay, I made a pot of soup and a pot of jollof rice, yummy and delicious jollof rice, not just anyhow jollof rice. Okay, so sit back for that. Okay guys, so it's time to make our jollof rice, and I'm starting off with the meat. Over here I have the soft chicken, as some people may call it. They have the hard one and the soft one, so this is the soft one, which Italians call polo. That's what they call it over here. So I'm just going to cut them in two because, like I said earlier, I'm making it for the kids, so I'm cutting it in two so that it can get to everybody, right? So after cutting it, I'm going to add some salt, you know, like I did with the goat meat and the mackerel fish. Add some salt, leave it for some minutes, and then I'll come back and wash the meat. And guys, I want to use this opportunity to say that if you're enjoying this video, please kindly click the like button, because I'm taking you through every single step of everything I did. So please kindly click the like button, subscribe if you're yet to do so, and keep on watching. Now over here, I'm just adding the meat in the pot, and I'm going to be adding 2 chicken knorr cubes, and in that 2 we have 4. That is 2 in 1, and in total I added 4 cubes. And I'm adding salt. I'm just going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to cut up this half of an onion and add to the pot as well. I'm going to add some dry rosemary. If you have time, just add time, but I don't have time, so I'm making use of the one I have. But trust me guys, it still came out so yummy. You won't even know that there is no time in it. Okay. So I'm going to mix everything up together, and I'm going to add just a little bit of water and cover the pot, allow the meat to cook. Now over here I've been boiling some water, which I'm going to use to parboil my rice, and I'm going to be adding 5 cups of rice. And as you can see, I'm using the standard cup. This is not tin tomato cup or any other cup. This is just the universal cup. I'm just adding 5 cups. I'm going to let this boil for 5 minutes. I always boil my rice for 5 minutes, and that's it. Just rinse it properly, and that is how I get a perfectly cooked jollof rice, just for 5 minutes, because anything more than that, it might start cooking, and before you know it, your rice will get soggy by the time you are done cooking the jollof rice. Okay, so 5 minutes is okay for me, but just wash your rice whichever way you prefer and however it works for you. For me, I always go for 5 minutes, and that's it. So I'm going to rinse it properly. You guys have seen how I wash my rice. I wash it until the water is clean and transparent, until all the cloudiness is gone. I hope you saw that earlier, right? Yeah. So once the water is clean and transparent, that's when I know that my rice is properly and thoroughly washed. Now back to the pot of meat. I'm going to take them out from the pot and transfer in a bowl, because we are going to be grilling or air frying the meat. Yes, for those of you that have been asking me, are you still using your air fryer? Is it still working for you? Of course, yes, I'm still using it. It works. Every time I bring it out, it works perfectly fine for me. So you're going to be seeing it in a bit. Just hold on, okay? Now over here I have my tomatoes, my red bell peppers, my onion, and the scotch bonnet peppers. So I'm going to quickly wash this, cut it into smaller chunks, then throw them in my blender, and then we are going to blend until they are well blended. So I'm adding just a little bit of water. Normally I don't add water while blending my tomatoes and peppers for jollof rice or even for stew, because I'm still going to be frying it, so there is no need adding water to it. But because the blender refused to blend without water, I decided to add water just to help my blender. You understand? So you don't necessarily need water, and you can use a food processor. I have a food processor, but you guys, I wasn't thinking straight. I did not even remember it. I should have used it, right? But I did not remember my food processor. Can you imagine? So I was just there struggling with the blender, but after everything, I got it all done. Okay, so in a pot I added some vegetable oil. Actually I added some maize oil. Let it heat up a bit. Add my onion, add my salt, add my what is it called again, my rosemary, the dry rosemary I showed you guys earlier. I also added some nutmeg, ground nutmeg, just to give the oil some flavor. And now I just added the blended peppers, tomatoes, onion, and no, sorry guys, I didn't blend the onion. The onion I showed you with the fresh pepper and tomatoes, I actually sliced it, and that was the onion I added after the oil. Okay, so I blended only the tomatoes, the fresh peppers and the scotch bonnet peppers, the bell peppers, right? Yeah, so over here I'm just adding some aromat, salt, grilling seasoning, and this chili sauce. I'm adding it to the already cooked meat. I'm sorry guys if you're hearing any background noise, that is Blessing, and I must do this voiceover, okay? This is the only time I have to do it now, okay? So I'm sorry. And by the way, look at her, she's the one I'm showing now and she's in the background here shouting, so please pardon, okay? So after adding those, mix it up. I'm transferring it now to my air fryer. Now, because I've already cooked the chicken, I'm going to be setting the heat, the temperature to 200 and the timer for 20 minutes. I just want it to brown up a bit and to crisp up a little bit. That's why I'm, transferring them to the air fryer. And what I just poured in this plate now is just the little stock that came out from when I was mixing the meat, and the one in the plate you guys saw when I was pouring it, right? That's the stock we got from cooking the meat. Yeah, so I didn't mention that earlier, but I'm saying it now. Now back to our pot. The pepper mix have been frying for some time now, I think for over 20 minutes. And I'm just going to be adding my jumbo seasoning. That thing is so good for jollof rice, you guys. It is so good for jollof rice. So I just added about, I don't even know if it is up to 1 tablespoon. I added some thyme. I added a little bit more of the nutmeg. And I've added the meat stock, the liquid we got from cooking the meat. And now I'm adding my already parboiled and washed rice, and we are going to mix this all up. Just mix it up very well so that both the sauce and the rice can marry each other. You get what I mean? Okay, now, did I mention that this is a coconut jollof rice? No, I didn't. I just want you guys to follow along. I don't want to, break the news on time. I just want you to watch and see the process. You understand? So this is actually a pot of delicious coconut jollof rice. So I just added the tin of coconut milk and mix up everything together. Cover the pot. We are going to allow the water to dry up a bit, and we are coming back to the pot. Okay, now this is the meat. This is exactly how I want it to look. It is so perfect now. The texture, the taste, the crispiness, and everything is just so on point. Now back to the rice. I'm just going to mix it up again. Don't be afraid of turning your rice, okay? Some people say that when they stir their rice, it starts burning. If it burns, scrape it. Just scrape it, okay? So I just mixed it, to fluff it up a bit, and I covered it with a foil paper just to let the moisture dry up. You don't need to add more water to this because we don't want a soggy and mushy jollof rice, right? Yes, just let it cook in its own juice. As you guys saw earlier, or as you can see, I did not add extra water to this jollof rice. Only the sauce, the stock we got from the meat, and that's it. Okay, with the coconut milk, that's all the liquid I used. No extra plain water whatsoever. All right, the rice is done as you saw earlier, and I added 1 fresh tomato, and half of an onion just to garnish it up a bit, and that is it, you guys. Now over here, as you can see, we have a different hand in the kitchen and this hand is a powerful hand, the only hand that makes the best semo in the whole wide world. And it's no other person but my husband. This man makes the best semo all over the whole world. Yes, come and quote me. Come and quote me to that. And by the way, he's not making semo this time around. He's making the poundo yam flour that I showed you guys earlier. Guys, this thing, when you are eating this, you will forget that you are on a weight loss journey. I'm telling you, because it is so smooth, so elastic, so fluffy, and so yummy in the truth. See, I love food though, forget that thing. I love food very well, so allow me to hype this poundo yam flour. Allow me to hype it. So guys, you can see what he's doing here. He just mixed it up with already boiled water, and by the way, he added a little bit of olive oil. He cannot turn semo or yam flour without olive oil, so he did that, and he had already added the oil before I started recording him, so he did that. Okay, add the stuff, mix it, cover it. After mixing it, he added some more water, just a little bit of water, covered it and allowed it to boil for 2 to 3 minutes. He came back again, flipped it over, allowed it to cook for 2 to 3 minutes more, mixed it up again, and that is it. Now I'm molding the fufu. Guys, it was such a merriment on this day. We had so much fun. We ate to our satisfaction. You guys can see the presentation. Like, are you not wanting to dive in? This jollof rice is giving. The kids were eating and requesting for more. The adults were eating the soup and going for more. Like, everybody had so much fun demolishing this delicious goodness you are seeing on this table. And you guys, that brings us to the end of this video. If you like it, please don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.